Say your daddy. Oh, she's so sweet. Hey guys, there's literally hair, like cat hair. I don't know if any of you have cats or like dogs that shed, but one of my favorite colors or shades, whatever, to wear ever is black. Most of my wardrobe is black, but then I have 3 cats that are so fluffy. I always have hair all over everything that I ever wear, and I always have lint rollers with me. Like I have one in the car, I have one in Mark's car, in the living room I have one, in the bathroom I have one, and I'm constantly, like not even kidding, lint rolling. This video I'm actually going to be talking about a couple more weird things that I've had happen to me in my life. This is not something that is from the house that I live in now. It's not something that is from my other house that I lived in where I've done stories for. This is actually the one from my parents' house that I lived in for 10 years, and it's where they currently live now. I have like a few really weird stories from that house, but I don't know what it is. Like I just haven't really felt like I wanted to talk about those. I don't know if it's because my parents still live there and I thought my mom would like, you know, she watches my YouTube and sometimes she doesn't like what I talk about really, but I think that I've done a shout out to my mom before. She's watching this one too. Hi Mom. Hi. But me and my boyfriend were talking today about some of the weird things that I had happen there, because one of them that I had happen that I'm going to be talking about in this video is actually something that happened to me when I was talking to him on the internet. And while I was talking to him on, it was like back when like people would use like Yahoo Messenger, we were like chatting to each other on Yahoo Messenger when this thing happened. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And really quick, since this is the next paranormal video that I'm going to be uploading, in my previous one is when I talked about like the Black Cemetery and all of that stuff. And in a lot of my videos I talk about how I don't want to disclose on the like exact location of my old home that I lived in, and I haven't said the town that it was in because I thought that people would, I felt really protective over the family that lives there now, and I was really worried people would figure out where it was. But realistically, if I tell you guys the town name, I don't really think you can figure out where the house is, because there's, you know, there's thousands of people that live there, so I'm not really worried about it. So all of the people that left a comment and it was like, oh, I figured out the town she used to live in. It was Siloam Springs, Arkansas. You are correct. It was Siloam Springs, Arkansas that I lived in where that stuff happened. And even when I didn't live there, Siloam Springs was the town that, even when I lived on the outskirts in the house where my parents live now, they live like in Oklahoma, about, I guess about 10 miles in Oklahoma. So even when I lived with my parents where they live now, that was like the town that I basically grew up in. But anyways, let's get to the point, I guess. So the house my parents live in now, they live way out in the woods, like in the middle of nowhere. They literally get turkeys and deer and all kinds of stuff like come up into their yard all the time. My mom actually posted a Snapchat the other day of a turkey that climbed up on their deck and got up on like the top part of it and was walking around trying to get into their hummingbird feeder. When we moved there, I was about 11 years old, and the street that I had lived in Siloam was full of kids my age. Like I had, apart from the paranormal stuff, I had a pretty good childhood. Like in the summers I would rollerblade and ride my bikes with all my friends, and I was constantly around people. I mean, when I was in 2nd grade, my mom decided to homeschool me and my sister, and then not that long after that we ended up moving way out to the woods. So I didn't really have like that many friends from like 11 until probably about 16 or 17 years old. Like I spent a lot of my time inside. I was one of those weirdo kids that would just spend like all the time in the world on the internet. A lot of the people that like I grew up around like thought that I was a weirdo because I was like the homeschool kid and I didn't know anybody, and it was really difficult growing up, living out in the woods, being homeschooled, because you're just the weirdo that's out in the woods that's homeschooled. That was kind of how I spent my time. I was a computer whiz. Like I would just spend all my hours being awake on the internet. And that's actually how I met my now current boyfriend, but we were friends for, and I don't mean just online friends, like we met each other in person, and you know, me and my sister and my brother-in-law, like we were all really close with Mark for about 4 years or somewhere around in there before me and him even started dating. Like, we were friends when we were in long-term relationships with like other people. So we had actually first met and started talking as friends on MySpace. You try my teeth. I'm like always paranoid when I have like lipstick on my teeth. When we were not in the same area and he wasn't flying down from Vermont to Arkansas, like we would talk on the internet or on webcam or whatever, and that was just what we did. I'm pretty sure I was about 18 when this happened, and the only computer that we had in the house at that time was in my parents' bedroom. My sister lived in Siloam Springs with her husband, and at this particular night, my mom was staying at my sister's house. So I was there by myself. This one thing scared me to death, and it's still one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me with something like moving on its own. A lot of my stories that I tell on my channel are of things that I've seen, but this is something moved. My mom was at my sister's house and my dad was at work. They had both of the vehicles because at the time I didn't have a car, so there was no vehicle at home at all. I was completely by myself in the middle of the woods with no transportation or nothing. So I was talking to Mark on the internet, and I believe we were talking on Yahoo Messenger actually. Do you guys remember those days? I was sitting there and behind me was her bed and her dresser, and I'm sitting there and I'm typing away, and I had been home alone by myself for probably a couple of hours. Behind me, my mom has, and she still has it to this day, it's this massive dresser. It has this big huge mirror, it has like a middle drawer, and then it has drawers on the side. Like, it is huge. Well, I'm sitting there and I'm typing to Mark, and all of a sudden I hear this creak sound, like this really loud and drawn out like creaking sound. Almost instantly I had chills because I was like, what the hell was that? So I turned into the direction where I heard the noise. As I turn, I see the middle drawer of the dresser opening. And this drawer is opening, like, I mean slow. Like, not like fast or anything like that like you see in Paranormal Activity. Like, it was slowly opening. And I had chills up my spine. I remember, like, I left what I was typing in the middle of typing to Mark. I just immediately stopped and I grabbed the phone and I called my mom. And I was in the kitchen on the phone with my mom. I had ran out of the bedroom immediately. And I'm trying to tell her what was happening, and she's on the other end of the phone and she's telling me, well, you know, maybe the middle drawer just, maybe it caught like a breeze or something and it was kind of open and it was like opening. I'm telling my mom, I'm like, no, you don't get it. Like, the drawers were shut. I heard it creaking when it opened. Like, I heard it opening. From the time that the drawer opened and I ran out of the room and I grabbed the phone and I called my mom to when I was walking back into the bedroom while on the phone with her trying to tell her what happened was probably about a span of a minute to 2 minutes. I'm not kidding. It was so fast. Like, I was out of there. I called her, and then as I'm telling her, no, you don't get it, like, it was closed, I'm walking back into the bedroom. I couldn't have even expected this in a million. Like, I have goosebumps like all over my entire body right now. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I think I just shrunk an entire bra size right now from how much goosebumps I have. I'm not even kidding. God, these goosebumps, go away. I have the phone in my head. I walk into my mom's room. I turn the corner to look at the dresser while I'm trying to tell her what happened. The middle drawer is completely closed like it had never happened. I swear to God, it was completely shut, like latched shut. The middle drawer wasn't one of those drawers where you pull it out. It was like how you open a door. That's the way the middle drawer was. It was like a one where you could grab it by like a little knob and you pulled it open like this. And then when I came back in, it was completely latched shut, like somebody shut the drawer that had just opened. I'm gonna actually ask my mom to take a picture of it and to send me a picture so I can insert it somewhere here. So hopefully that's here, and she sent that to me so I can tell you this because I kind of need you to see what this looks like. There's nothing in a million years that could ever describe to you guys the amount of fear that was in me when I walked back in and the door was shut. I almost at that point felt like there was somebody in the house. Like, I didn't even feel anymore like it was paranormal at that moment. I remember telling my mom I didn't feel safe. She needed to come home, and honestly, I wish I could say she came home, but I don't think she did. In my memory, I kind of don't remember my mom coming home at all, to be honest with you. Thanks, Mom. When I lived in that home, where they live now. I try and tell my mom all the time that her house feels scary. Every time I'm there, like me and Mark sometimes will go stay for a night because they kind of live, like where I live right now is about an hour from my parents, so sometimes we'll go stay for a night over there. And I always try and tell my mom, like, oh, it feels spooky. Like it was probably about 3 times ago that we were there. Like, I swear to you guys, there was something like in the den. I could hear it, and I thought it was one of her dogs. It sounded like what their dogs do. They'll get up on the furniture and they'll, like, you know how dogs, when they're trying to get comfortable, they'll scratch like on the cushion. We're laying there. It's like 3 in the morning. Me and Mark were still awake. I think we were watching like Desperate Housewives. And I heard a dog, what I thought was one of their dogs, in there scratching on the cushions in the living room. And Mark heard it too. Like, we were both wide awake. We both heard it. Well, turns out the dogs weren't even in the living room at all. That night, they were locked into the room with my parents, and my parents were both in their bed, so I have no idea what the heck that was. But I remember I told my mom that happened, and she told me that it was probably an armadillo outside of the window digging in the dirt. One of the other things that I had happen there that I am not going to tell you this is paranormal. I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to say it's a ghost. I'm not going to say it's a spirit. I'm not going to say any of that at all. I'm just going to let you guys decide what you think this is, because it's such a crazy thing to try and tell somebody that, like, I can't even wrap my mind around why something like this would even make sense, that it could even happen. I mean, I guess I've heard stories like this happening to people, but for me to say that this happened to me and to just without a doubt be like, I know it was I can't do that. I don't know what's wrong with me. Why have I had paranormal experiences in my life, but when I have something weird happen to me, I still can't say it was a ghost? Like, am I the only one? Like, I don't understand how I can be such a paranormal freak, but I still try and discredit every single thing that ever happens. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not even sure how old I was when this happened. This was years ago. I still lived there, and my sister was there at the time. And my parents in that house, on the complete opposite end from where their bedroom is the den, and then on the other side of the den there is the like laundry room where like we have the washing machine and the dryer and like all that stuff. Well, I had put a shirt in the dryer and I had turned the dryer on, and I had left the laundry room, and I went and I sat back in the den with my sister, which was literally right next to the laundry room. We were sitting there watching TV, and then I got back up to go back into the laundry room to get my shirt out of the dryer. It was broad daylight. It was probably about noon. Entire family awake, like everything. This doesn't even make any sense. I had my hair in a bun about right here on my head. I went to go get my shirt out of the dryer. I walk into the laundry room and I turn the corner. It felt like somebody took like the tiniest amount of my hair, like about like this, from the top of my head and just tugged it, like just barely tugged it and let it go. Like, it was so fast, like that my head stung, and I like felt like this like stinging sensation of my hair being pulled on top of my head. And that was the first thing that I thought was, crap, something, like somebody just pulled my hair. So my first reaction was to slap the top of my head. I immediately felt like, okay, what the heck just happened? So I turned back around. I didn't even get my shirt out of the dryer. I turned back around. I went back into the den, and I'm like, Kim, this sounds crazy, but I swear to God, it felt like somebody just pulled my hair. And Kim's looking at me, and I swear to God, like her face, she was like, Kyla, there's like hair sticking out of the top of your head. I went and I looked in the mirror, and there was like a loop, like an entire loop of my hair that was pulled out of the tight bun that I had, just like sitting there on top of my head. And I was just like, how does that happen? Like, I don't even understand how that happens. And not only that, like when people have paranormal stories, or when you hear stories about people's hair getting pulled, it's always in these places or in these situations where like you're kind of asking for it. I wasn't asking for shit. I just wanted the wrinkles out of my shirt. Like, what the heck? How freaking rude. I was telling Mark about it before I even started filming this video, and I told him, I was like, I don't know if I should even tell that story, because it's so... It isn't, I know I talk about my paranormal stories on my channel. I know that's why a lot of you are here. I know that's what a lot of you like to hear, and that's, you know, you're totally chill with this kind of stuff. You guys don't think I'm crazy. But like I told him, I was like, I feel like I can't tell that story because it is so cracked. It doesn't even make sense that that even happened. But Mark is the reason why you guys are even hearing that story, because I almost didn't tell you, because I don't know, I am so freaking picky and particular about the stories that I talk about on my channel. And like I said, I was just a little bit up in air if I should talk about that or not. But I'm just being completely honest with you guys. I don't really feel like I can be like, oh my god, a ghost pulled my hair. I don't know, but can I explain why my hair was pulled? I cannot explain that at all. There was nobody in there, and if there was, it was so quick from when I felt it that I slapped the top of my head that I would have known that somebody did that. So I have no idea what happened. So I guess that's it for this video. And I wanted to tell you guys too that me and Mark are gonna go back to the Black Cemetery for you guys. I don't know if we're gonna go in the next week or so, but we're gonna go as soon as possible, and I'm going to like vlog the entire thing, and I'm gonna use the Ghost Radar app, and we're gonna see if we can have anything paranormal happen to us while we're there, because that's what you guys have been asking for. So that will be coming up. I mean, I'm sure I will have videos up between now and then, because I'm not sure when we're going to go there, but I just want to let you know that I've seen all of your comments where you want me to go there, and we'll definitely be doing that. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you are not subscribed to my channel yet, then you should definitely subscribe so that you can see more videos like this. And yeah, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!